Hey, good Friday morning, everyone. I just wanted to say real quick, here's the thing about life. And this is not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm not judging nobody, anything like that. I'm just saying, or keeping it real, that when it comes to life, and I told people this before and say it all the time. For example, when it comes to the world, it's nothing wrong with the world, the location, the things in it, the place, like all these different states, cities, countries, etc. The problem is different people affiliated with it. Same thing with nothing wrong with a church, the building. The problem comes in when people start acting crazy, acting like fools or this and that. It's nothing wrong with a gun. The problem is, or the question is, the person with a gun, do they, one, have a felony, or two, do they have business, or do they have any business having a gun in the first place to begin with? That's the real question about it. Because a gun can't hurt nobody until somebody picks it up and pulls the trigger. In other words, there's no such thing as magic, and I'm just being real, because there's not. So I'm saying all this though because it's like saying that, like Genesis 6 talks about man's heart is continuously wicked. And a situation sadly going on that I talked to some people about yesterday, dealing with Chauncey Billups and that big situation in basketball about the gambling and stuff. It's nothing new about it. It's been going on even before Michael Jordan started playing. But what I'm trying to say is not putting nobody down or nothing. It's really sad what happens and takes place. But what I'm saying here now is the same thing just about money though. It's nothing wrong with money. The problem is a lot of people, or the mindset of a rich person, usually or mostly, the problem comes in when you feel good because you're rich, you got a lot of money. It makes you feel some type of way. Instead of you being pleased and thankful with what you have, you like, no, I want to get more. I got to have more money. And next thing you know, you end up hanging around the wrong people or doing some stupid stuff that you have no business doing and this and that. But we all have to live and learn. You learn from your mistakes, but sometimes we learn the hard way because we end up getting ourselves in a situation that could have been avoided if we didn't make a stupid or foolish decision. And that's what life is about, choices / decisions. We all have to make decisions. Like you can have multiple cars. The question is, what car do you want to drive today? You can have multiple suits or shoes, same thing in bowling. You can have multiple bowling balls. The question is, what bowling ball do you want to throw tonight or for this particular lane condition? So all I'm trying to say is that, once again, it's nothing wrong with money. For 1 Timothy 6:10 states, the love of money, meaning how you treat it, what you're going to do with it. You being so boastful and lustful for money instead of being thankful and using it to the best of your ability in a wise way. You want to use it to gamble. You want to use it to buy drugs or do this or to go rob a bank or whatever the case is. That's the problem with the world. Other than that, nothing's wrong with the world as far as God making it, because God is perfect. God doesn't make no errors, no mistakes. So I just wanted to say that because it's just a lot going on in the world, overseas in Israel, here in America, wherever. And I just think to myself every day, I'm like, I wonder before I take my last breath and die, if it's going to be the time that the rapture comes and Jesus is actually going to return and things of that nature, because we're living in the end of times. It's getting worse and worse, and all the Bible is doing is fulfilling itself. So that's all I wanted to say. But I just hope and pray every day that the Lord shields and blesses me and the people I know and my family and people in general, because it's just getting worse. It's getting bad out here. And until Jesus comes and until we get the new heaven, new earth that Revelations 20 or 21 talks about, it's not going to get better. So, but that's all I want to say. God bless you all. God keep you. Be blessed. Have a great Friday and have a blessed and prosperous weekend as well. And also, real quick, I forgot to add this in there. Here's the key thing about it. I was watching a video on YouTube Wednesday, and I can understand where a lot of people come from and why they say this, because I used to think the same thing and wonder different things. But first of all, like Isaiah 55, 8, 9 talk about how God's thoughts are not our thoughts, nor his ways our ways. That's the thing about life. The reason why God decided to create the devil, who used to be known as Lucifer when he was in heaven before he got kicked out, is free will. And a lot of people like to question God and this and that, but God is in control, so he can do whatever he wants when he wants to. So the point is this, that life is about choices, decision making. So you have good and bad on every side, every situation. And that includes the angels. The fallen angels are now demons because they got kicked out of heaven. That's why they're called fallen angels. So I'm saying this though because people have to realize that a lot of things are not necessarily God's fault. People sit there and think, well, why did God do this? First of all, either you don't understand and know the reason and purpose behind it and the benefit, or you just don't have a relationship with God to understand that God may do some things that sometimes to us, man, may seem a little bit off and confusing. But like I said, God's thoughts are not our thoughts. So God's mindset, the way he does things and thinks, is totally distinct and different than man. But that being said, that's the reason why a lot of people may question and say, well, if God is a loving God, why would he do this? Why does he allow this to happen? Well, God allows a lot of things to happen. First of all, if he didn't allow me, let's say I'm hard-headed and I sit there and do something I ain't got no business doing. If he doesn't allow me to find out the consequences, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And in order for me to learn a lesson, I got to find out the hard way. So God, out of tough love, is saying, Cameron, see, I told you 15 times before not to do this, but you decided to do it a 16th time. So I said, I'm going to take my hand off of you and let you find out this way, but I'm still going to let you live. I'm not going to let it kill you. So people need to understand that nothing is God's fault. God may do some things we don't like or disagree with, but hey, that's part of life. But the point is, at the end of the day, what happens is for a reason. And a lot of things we may get ourselves into, but also a lot of things are a life lesson to teach us, to grow us, to mature us. So that's why Solomon, David's son, asked God for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He could have had all this other stuff in the world, even though he had plenty of money and had concubines and wives and so much other stuff that Proverbs and Ecclesiastes talk about. But he didn't want that. He wanted wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But that's all I wanted to say real quick. And the reason I brought it up once again is because it's nothing wrong with money. It's all based off of the mindset of the person. Like the situation that happened with Chauncey Billups and all them. All I'm doing is hoping and praying that they learn from the stupid thing they did. I don't wish nothing bad on them. That's not my job to judge them or to down them, condemn them. My job is to hope that they learn from what they did, and God is going to deal with them as far as the consequences and karma, and they reap what they sow. But I'm never going to wish nothing bad on nobody, because the same thing could happen to me. And I'm not that type of person, but that's all I wanted to say, because that's why the Bible states, love thy neighbors thyself, because you can't love God unless you love your neighbor or his people, in other words. And that's all I'm trying to sum up. But to God be the glory. God bless you. Have a great day.